Hi Butterfly, it's Eva Lane here from anxiousrelief.com, and today I want to talk to you about panic attacks, anxiety attacks, whatever you call them. They're terrifying and they're frustrating, and they are massive blockers that are standing in the way of living the life that you deserve to live. So what's my personal experience with panic and anxiety attacks? Let me tell you. About 15 years ago, before I was diagnosed with anxiety disorder, my panic attacks were at their very worst, and it was even more so, more terrifying, more frightening, because I didn't know what they were. I didn't understand what was happening to me. So let me just describe to you what my actual anxiety and panic attacks were like. I worked in Sydney, and I worked in a big multi-level office building. I think we were about the 13th or 14th floor up, and it was about a 20-story building. Anyway, it was 2001 and 9/11 happened, and I, ever since that moment, whenever the fire alarms would go off at work, or whenever there was, any sort of strange smell, a smell that I didn't recognize, whenever something slightly odd would happen within the workplace, I was straight into flight mode. I had to get out of there. My head was filled with visions of what had happened to people that were trapped in that burning building during 9/11, and I was so scared of replicating that in my life. And it got so bad that these panic attacks actually started to infiltrate other areas of my life. So I started being unable to take the train home from work, because I don't know if you've ever been to Sydney before, but the rail service there isn't that fantastic. And from time to time, especially in summer, we'd be travelling along the rail network, and then suddenly the power would cut out, which means the air conditioning would go off and the train would come to a standstill, and we'd be sitting there on the railway line for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I think it was up to 30 minutes one day, without any knowledge of what was going on ahead of us. All we knew that was that the train had run out of power. The power was cut, and we were just sitting there. And again, it was this fear of being trapped that triggered this absolute animalistic need to escape that situation. So for me, my panic attacks were definitely more claustrophobia based. I did have some nocturnal panic attacks, and again, they were very claustrophobic. I'd have these dreams that I was trapped in a room and I couldn't get out, and it was horrible thing to have to go through. But that's what panic is. It's whatever it's a trigger that makes your flight or fight mechanism come into play, and most often it's your flight mechanism that becomes triggered, which causes you to escape a situation or avoid a situation altogether. And this is why many people with anxiety, especially social anxiety, feel that they can't drive a car, feel that they can't ride public transport, feel that they can't work, and it's because these situations trigger this need to get out of there as quickly as you can, And when you're panicking, your brain's not working properly. It's not thinking properly. So I've had a range of experience with panic attacks, and I've had some that have been, like white flashes of panic that have been and gone in a couple of minutes. And then I think my worst ever panic attack actually lasted several weeks, and it ended with the Archangel Michael visiting me one night in my room. And that's how this whole energy healing, aura seeing ability was opened up in me. That's a different story altogether, but that's how I became an energy healer, and that's why I'm talking to you today. Anyway, the 3 things that really helped me and that I think you need to know about panic and anxiety attacks. And here's number 1. You can see that. You are not your panic attacks. You are you, and your panic attack is actually a completely separate energy. It's an energy that infiltrates your energy, but you as a person are separate to your panic attacks. So I do tend to speak very energetically about anxiety and about panic attacks. And the way that I explain it is this. You are a bubble of energy yourself. Your body's inside an aura. You emanate an aura. And panic attacks, panic energy, it's bubbling around out there in the universe, going all around the place all the time. And if your energy is vibrating on a level that attracts panic energy, then that panic energy is going to see you flashing like a beacon in the desert, and it's going to be attracted to you, and all it's looking for is a situation for it to be triggered, so then it can come into your energy and take over and trigger that fight or flight mechanism. So understanding that you are a person are separate to your panic attacks is very, very important for you to know, because many of my clients, when they first come to see me and I say, tell me about yourself, they start to talk about their panic. They start to talk about their anxiety. Oh, I started getting anxiety when I was 8 years old and this happened in my life. It's not you. That's not you. As an energy healer, I heal you, the client. The anxiety, the panic, that is the symptom. That is an absolute separate energetic being from you. And my job is to help you separate yourself from the anxiety, from the panic. And once you know how, it's actually really, really easy to do. And how you do it is actually in my second thing that you need to know about beating panic attacks. I've written down another little note. What you resist persists. Now, I know for a fact that this is absolutely true. It's as true for you as it is for me, as it is for everyone else out there in the world. Panic, by its nature, will be attracted to your energy field when you're feeling low and when you're vibrating on a level that's not truly aligned with who you are. The panic gets attracted to that and it waits for a trigger so that it can actualize in your energy field. What happens next is 100% in your control. Now, you feel the panic coming on, and it does. Oftentimes it feels like that white flash, and many times it comes out of nowhere. So it can be absolutely terrifying and bewildering. So when you feel that panic coming on, it's really, really important that you recognize and understand that in all likelihood, what you're experiencing right now is a panic attack. Many, many thoughts and many, many ideas will probably flood through your head. So some of the symptoms of panic attacks include pounding heart, or heart shakes, or pressure around the heart area, nausea, extreme nausea, even violent vomiting sometimes can occur with a panic attack. Dizziness, my goodness, that's a massive one, that feeling of spiraling out of control, and an inability to breathe. Many people feel that they just can't seem to take a deep breath, or they're taking too many breaths, or they can't seem to get their breathing to stabilize in a normal pattern, and that again, like that just feeds the anxiety more and more. So what the panic does is it infects your energy field, and then your resistance goes up. You immediately, you sense that this is panic, you sense that this is foreign to you, and immediately all your energy goes into fighting it. You got to fight the panic, got to fight the panic, got to fight this situation, got to escape this situation, got to fly from the situation, got to get out, got to get out, got to get out. And what you're actually doing by fighting the panic is you're feeding it, because the more you push against the panic, the tireder you will become, and the more susceptible you actually become to that panicked energy when it hits you. And that's why the more panic attacks that you tend to have, the worse they seem to become. And that's why I get so many people that come to me and they're in this situation where they're having multiple panic attacks a day, and they can't remember the last time they got through a day without a panic attack. It's simply that the tireder you become, the more susceptible you become to the panic, and the harder you try to fight it, the stronger that panic actually gets. And I know it sounds so counterintuitive, and people often look at me like I have two heads when I tell them you got to stop fighting the panic. You got to just let it happen. You just got to let it wash over you. You just have to allow it to be there. You just have to feel all those symptoms, every single one of them. Feel the beating heart, feel the inability to breathe, feel those thoughts swirling through your head. Really be in that feeling of I can't get out and I'm going to die. Feel that feeling and don't fight it. Don't try to talk yourself out of it. Allow it to be there. Don't fight it. Just don't fight it. Don't give the panic the reaction that it wants. Don't give it the reaction that it needs in order to survive. Which brings me to my third thing. This too shall pass. So my butterfly, every single panic attack you've had in the past, every single one of them, 100% of them, you have survived. You're here now. You're here now watching this video. You're here now reading this blog. You're here listening to me tell you my story about my panic attacks, because your story is very close to my story, and what you're experiencing with your panic and anxiety attacks is very close to what I have experienced in my life. And just like I have survived every single one of my panic attacks, you have survived every single one of yours. So you have a 100% success rate in getting through your panic attacks. How's that for a reframe? And I know that that's probably not a huge amount of comfort for you right now where you are currently experiencing anxiety and panic attacks, but let me put it to you this way. When you stop fighting your panic attacks and when you allow them to just be there, when you allow them to come on and you don't try to fight the wave and you don't try to talk yourself out of it and you don't try to push back on them or fight them, anxiety loosens its grip on you, and the panic has nothing to hold on to. If you become slippery and you become really, really relaxed and you relax into that feeling of panic, literally there is nothing for that panic energy to hold on to in your energy. So it starts to slip and slide away. So that works for getting through that individual panic attack. And you just do that again and again and again throughout your panic attacks for as long as it takes to get through them, and just know that you'll survive every single one of them. But the other thing is that as you begin to do this, your panic attacks become less and less. They become less frequent, they become less strong, they become less obvious, and they become less intrusive on your life. Why is that? Because your energy, because it's not being put into fighting the panic, it becomes stronger in and of itself. you become stronger in and of yourself. So the panic attacks, you might be getting 5 a day now. That reduces over, a few days, a few months, however long as it takes. It reduces to 4 a day, 3 a day, 2 a day, 1 a day. And then you become like me, like I am right now, and you forget when the last panic attack was that you even had. I was sitting here before I started doing this video thinking, when was the last time I had a panic attack? And I really, really had to think. Because I can't remember the last time panic seeped into my life and held on to me with such force like it used to. I know it used to control my life and it doesn't anymore. So by not fighting the panic attack and by knowing that this too shall pass, just like it has 100% of the time, every other time, it reduces the intensity and the frequency of the panic attack that you're in the moment, and it reduces the number of panic attacks over time. So like I said, it reduces down eventually to 0. Now, if you want help putting this into practice, I have a free energy healing meditation over on my website, anxiousrelief.com, for you to download for free on MP3. Now, this meditation is designed for you to listen to during your panic attack. The idea is when you feel that panic energy beginning to come in, you find the MP3 and you start listening to it. And I count you down from 20 to 1. And during that time, your panic attack, that wave will wash over you and it will calm down until your panic attack is finished. That's for free over on my website, and I'll put the link to it directly under this video. I'm Eva Lane from anxiousrelief.com. If you like this video, please go over and visit my blog or subscribe to this YouTube channel. I've got so much more to share with you. Love and light. Bye for now.